Worldwide Hippies presents Hippie News and Stuff with Winston Smith and the Worldwide Hippies News Team.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
What's up, Doc?
Happy day. Hippies, paz in el barrio, bugs, you know how we do. It's said with some justification that knowledge is power. These days, there are dozens upon dozens of sources from which one might rearm oneself with news and information, which are the raw materials of knowledge after all. But ammunition is only as good as it is reliable, so who do you trust for your informational reloads? I'm going to read a list of, admittedly incomplete and partial, in which you will hear the names of about 20 various news and information sources. After you hear the name, if you recognize it or them, rate them on a scale of 0 to 10 for trustworthiness, 0 being the least trustworthy, 10 being the most. Now I'm going to go pretty quickly and I'll number them as I go. 1. Al Jazeera. 2. NPR. 3. The Guardian. 4. HuffPost. 5. RT. 6. Democracy Now! 7. ABC News. 8. Slate. 9. Facebook. 10. YouTube. 11. Agence France Presse. 12. The New York Times. 13. Time Magazine. 14. Newsweek. 15. Wall Street Journal. 16. Reuters. 17. The National Enquirer. 18. NBC News. 19. Washington Post. 20. BBC News. Now, total your score. The highest number you could have recorded is 200. The lowest is 0. Here's how I interpret the answers. 0 to 50, acceptably skeptical. 50 to 100, charmingly naive. 100 to 150, alarmingly naive. And over 150, dangerously credulous. Because you got to remember, in the corporate state, corporate media are the state media. All of them are designed to spin propaganda one way or another. Folks who trust media are the besotted drones and drooling dullards who flock to Fox to watch the flash of blonde bimbette panty as the Gretchens cross and uncross their legs, titillizing and tantalizing, whilst they ratify the morons' prejudices and pander to their fears. None of them, not Al Jazeera, not NPR, not the New York Times, not RT certainly, the voice of the Russian state propaganda agency, which is free of overriding propaganda interests or spin. What you should do, of course, is read them all, or as many as possible, and compare the accounts. Judge for yourself the accuracy relative to each other's account. Or you could ask me when I see you at the beach, hippies.
Hey, that sandwich that's in the refrigerator growing legs, that's Diana's. You should get her to clean up the fridge every now and then. You know, it's been an interesting week. Komen for the Cure came out last week and said, we're not going to fund Planned Parenthood anymore. Oh boy, did they open up a can of worms. All of a sudden, there was a huge backlash against them. Two of their own people, Dr. Kathy Plesser and Molly Williams, left. Dr. Plesser said that Planned Parenthood serves the underserved and that we really needed to continue to support, and she could not support Komen if they were removing that funding. Komen, in response to that, said that, well, Planned Parenthood doesn't really give good service because they don't have the best equipment, so they don't give, good mammograms. My response to that is, well, maybe if you fund them, they can get new equipment and do proper mammograms. Might be a good idea. But in any event, they held their ground. They said it was financial reasons or what have you. Well, the backlash grew. Mayor Bloomberg of New York came out and said, I will give $250,000 in matching funds for every new donation coming into Planned Parenthood. Lance Armstrong came out and said that he's going to donate $100,000 to Planned Parenthood. And according to the Daily Beast, later that day, Planned Parenthood had raised over $400,000 in new donations. My guess, a lot of that money might have been going to Pink, but it's been redirected directly to Planned Parenthood to help them out. So, looks like Mayor Bloomberg has to cough up $250,000. Good on you. Anyway, so all of this repercussions and everything, Komen reversed their decision, and they will continue to fund Planned Parenthood. Unfortunately, they had to be pressured to do so, but at least they are. On another front, another company, J.C. Penney. Hey, they named Ellen DeGeneres as their spokesperson. Well, immediately, a group set upon them and threatened boycotts, threatened to shut them out, and strike at their stores and everything if they didn't fire Ellen DeGeneres because she's gay. Really, folks? You want to fire somebody because they're gay? What year are we living in? I have to hand it to J.C. Penney because J.C. Penney came back and said, take a hike. Ellen's still on, and kudos to J.C. Penney. You know what? I need some new suits, J.C. Penney. What store do you think I'm going to go to? Because I support my gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender friends. I have a lot of them, and I care and love for every one of them. That's why I continue to fight for their rights, equal rights for all people. My heart to your heart, one spirit.
Today we're going to look at a cult 80s, not so classic, Vamp. This movie features many of our forgotten 80s favorites who you thought would have done better. Two college students, Keith and AJ, want to find a stripper for their college initiation party. In search of the perfect dancer, they find themselves in a seedy part of town. They visit this nightclub where they find strange and unusual people. Vampires!
I think this is serious.
We're looking for the perfect stripper. They find her. There she is. She's gorgeous. She's voluptuous. She's delectable. What's the catch? She's a vampire! Oh, and did I mention the state-of-the-art and not cheesy at all special effects we've got going on in the film? Yeah. And if all else fails, we've got some naked women in the film as a backup. Just putting that out there. While watching the film, make sure to take note of the stellar and award-winning musical performance of our leading men.
Doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you. No pills, shake my fist.
What happens next? You'll have to watch the movie to find out. But here's a little taste of what's to come. Watch Vamp today, and if you get past the first half hour, let me know how it ends. I didn't finish it. See you next time.
This is fantastic! Hey guys, I'm psyched. Let's party.
How are you today? I'm at the Arts for All Gallery in Atlanta, Georgia. It's a not-for-profit gallery that promotes creativity and self-expression for artists with disabilities. And the show that's on the wall right now is a Arts from Found Objects show. So all this stuff, you know, was found. That's what, you know, it's a found art show. So I'm not sure where they found it, you know, probably different places. Wouldn't you think, Winston? All right. As usual, this is the Michael K. Minute here on Hippie TV. And I got a couple poems for you. Just happen to have them. This first one's called, Man, I Got It Bad. I'm like a blade of grass. I'm the path of a lawnmower. Oh, gosh. I'm like a blade of grass in the path of a lawnmower. I'm like a bear about to shit in the woods when a hunter nearby. There's people around. I can't say that word loud. I'm like a blade of grass in the path of a lawnmower. I'm like a bear about to poop in the woods with a hunter nearby. I'm like Hunter Thompson at the end without the gun. I'm like the Sex Pistols, sometimes screaming no fun. I'm like a cup of coffee spilled on the floor. I'm like a cockroach smashed by somebody's hand. I'm like a kid with no cake on the day he was born. I'm like the victim of a serial killer. I'm like a hooker whose John won't pay. I'm like a teenager not on the pill making love arbitrarily. I'm like Mother Teresa without the church. I'm like Jim Morrison without the doors. This is the end. I don't know about that one. We may have to redo that. Anyway, you can never make someone else your own. This is called, I'm addicted to my microwave. I put my head inside it in the morning and push a button to wake up. Can a microwave oven kill you like a regular oven did, Sylvia? I don't know, Joan. Can it? Shake the camera up and down if it can. Yeah? Okay, she's agreeing and laughing. So this is called The Difference Between Living Alone. Are we at 3 minutes? Winston gets really uptight if we go more than 3 minutes. I mean, he sends me threatening letters and dunning phone calls. We're at 2 minutes. Okay. The difference between living alone and having a love who spends a great deal of time with you is that a hurricane has suddenly invaded your space when you are trying to sleep in the morning. But your coffee now waits you when you finally rise, and she loves to cook you breakfast. So you weather the storm, eat your eggs, and the best grits that anyone has ever cooked, and realize how good that you have it. Thanks, Joan. All right, this is called I Love You More Than. Joan and I always have this argument about love, saying I love you, what love is. So I wrote this for Joan. It's called I Love You More Than. Joan, I love you more than allergies, herpes, diabetes, ear infections, paranoia, psychosis, diarrhea, bad breath, acne, oil changes, flat tires, visits to the doctor's office. I love you more than AIDS, dyslexia, multiple sclerosis. I love you more than dandruff, whooping cough, heart disease, and cancer. I love you more than not being able to pay the rent. I love you more than high utility bills. I love you more than every person that I've ever disliked. I love you more than that car of mine that overheated and died in the hot summer sun. I love you like this because you are such fun. All right, that's it. Michael K. Minute for this week.